Hello and welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host JT, and you are watching Black Box Trading. Bitcoin is looking like it's ready to go, but volumes are still really low. So if you're hanging out on the small time frames, you're seeing a lot of fake outs. You're seeing a lot of promising price structure that gets a rejection. You're seeing a lot of lost levels, a lot of rejections at resistance points, but overall the structure is still bullish. Overall, we're still seeing positive momentum in the right direction. Overall, we're still seeing intrinsic demand for Bitcoin. It's just retail volume is still low. Now, that can be attributed to a number of reasons: geopolitical, news driven, inflation. Just people don't have the retail cohort, which retail is how price moves, by the way. That's why Michael Saylor can buy thousands of Bitcoin and not move the price. Price moves by the order book. The order book is a retail driven thing. The retail is just not buying. Retail is just not buying. So that's why you're seeing this lackluster result. But nothing gets retail to the table like price action. So as soon as that intrinsic demand begins to tick Bitcoin up to the point at which retail becomes convinced that we're in a bull market, you're going to see the floodgates open. You're going to see Bitcoin going to the moon. Let's take a look at the charts here. Let's not delay any further. Take a look at the king of all crypto. That is Bitcoin. So what we're looking at today here is this bull flag. So this rather large double bottom formation bull flag here has broken out to the upside. Let's actually turn the volume on just for a moment. Here on the index chart, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the volumes overall in this market are still incredibly low. So you do have to proceed with caution. We could get a rejection at this level if retail doesn't come in and start hitting market buy. If you guys want me to go into more detail as to why it's only retail that can move price and not these massive institutions with hundreds and thousands, billions of dollars of liquidity going in, I can dive into that a little bit more. But anyways, do proceed with caution if you're trying to grab some stuff on the smaller time frames, especially with leverage, guys. Please be very careful with leverage at this point in the game. You don't want to liquidate your accounts. You don't want to miss out on the next impulse that is coming, because this next impulse up, Bitcoin's at 108 right now. It's easily going to go to 148, 158, 168 on this next impulse move when it finally does break, in my opinion. So don't get yourself screwed over on leverage. In these conditions, there's really only two ways to use leverage. One is to use it very sparingly, meaning 2x, 1.5x, no 10x, no 20x, none of that bullshit. You're just asking to get liquidated. Or you have to wait for a crash, and you have to be bold, and you have to buy a stupid big red candle in peak moments of fear. If you are not buying at peak moments of fear, then you shouldn't be using leverage. It's an advanced technique. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for people that have been around this market cycle long enough to look at those large moves down and be like, okay, yeah, the market's making a mistake here. We got a fair value gap that we need to fill. Let's just enter on some large leverage and get it going. So if that's not you, if you are using 10x leverage here at a breakout, best of luck to you, sir, because you are what the market makers like to call fresh meat. You are that beautiful, beautiful liquidity that keeps the market makers in business. Now, positive news. Positive news is we have a breakout. This is a technical breakout. We had this downwards sloping line of resistance right here. We put in a top here, we got a rejection here, and we have broken out, retested, and are now sitting on top of and holding above the 7 exponential moving average here on the alphanumerics indicator on the daily chart. This is a positive sign. If we get the daily candle close in about 8 hours and we are holding that level, we're holding the daily 7, we're probably going to continue to hold it for the next 2 days, and that will mean that we have to at least reach higher prices, which would take out this high take out this local high right here at 110,658, which would take out the prior high, and that would officially change the trend back into an uptrend here on Bitcoin. Well, I guess the lows are still in a decline, but it would change the direction. It would change the trend as far as the highs are concerned. So that would be a beautiful step in the right direction. I just have a feeling, listen, I know Bitcoin. I know the way that Bitcoin moves. It's priming for a big move. And I think that Bitcoin is going to take a big move to the upside, and we're going to see a very fast impulse to that 150K level. And you're going to suck in a huge amount of interest and excitement into the market with a move like that is going to spark off the retail phase of what we've been waiting for here in Bitcoin. Listen, the market so far, it has been institutionally driven. It has been OTC driven, and OTC does not move price fast at all because you're relying on the thinness of the order book to naturally tick to the upside. When Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin, he's buying it OTC. When he buys it OTC, the price does nothing. It does nothing. The only thing that moves the price is when somebody logs into Binance or Coinbase and they hit market buy. If you use a limit order, you do not move price. It only moves price when you hit market buy and you start to pull the asks out of the order book and mark the price up. So until that happens, until that retail phenomenon happens, all we can do is just rely on the fact that the intrinsic value of Bitcoin is climbing, the intrinsic demand of Bitcoin is climbing, the available supply of Bitcoin is dwindling. So you just need that catalyst to get that retail FOMO in, and it's going to move faster than you've probably ever seen in Bitcoin's life. Where are institutions? Trump and the rest of the big boys buy Bitcoin. What's the process? Can you open up the topic? So basically, they can get it from so many different sources, but the important thing to realize is that they're buying OTC, over the counter, which means they're not buying it from Coinbase. They're not buying it from Binance. They're not buying it from any centralized exchange like the retail traders do. They find hedge funds that are willing to sell it. They could actually make OTC deals with Coinbase. They can approach miners. They can go directly to the miners and say, hey, how much Bitcoin do you mind per day? We'll buy it. There's many different ways that they can acquire the Bitcoin, but all of those ways don't hit the order book, so you don't get that big price move. All right, let's catch up with the chat. YOLO Thrill in the chat. How's it going? Alpha Q, how are you? Liquidated Shorts watching from his bath. Too much information, friend. But hey, glad to have you in here. Yeah, so this is Bitcoin right now. I'm looking for an entry right now, which, by the way, if you guys aren't already in the group and you want access to, my entries, exits, take profits, all of that jazz, we give it all away. We give it all away for free. Just go to blackbox.pro, BLKBöX.pro. Actually, I got a new thing here. If you type join, let's see if it works. You'll get a link. Does it work? Does it work? There it is. No, that's not what we want. That link will definitely not work. I'll have to look into that. Anyways, go to blackbox.pro and click the join trading community tab right at the top. You're going to be asked 3 questions. What's your name? What's your email? Why do you want to join? And you'll be sent an email link that will get you into the trading Discord where we're sharing all of that information to you for free. So hope to see you guys in there very soon. Thanks. It's clear now. Do you also buy OTC? Yes, I do. So I buy OTC using an application called BISC. You guys have heard me talk about BISC numerous times on the channel. I don't buy on BISC because it's OTC. I buy on BISC because it is private. If you want to know the most complicated way to buy Bitcoin, look into BISC. There's always a give and take, right? Like, the most complicated way to buy Bitcoin is also the most private way to buy Bitcoin. So whatever kind of a Bitcoiner you are will determine how it is that you are purchasing your Bitcoin. If you value privacy, look into BISC, look into peer-to-peer OTC transactions. If you don't care about that stuff, then just keep it simple, man. Just buy on the exchange. Buy with one of our partnered exchanges. If you go to blackbox.pro, scroll down, you can buy Bitcoin on BitGet, you can buy it on Bybit, and you can buy it on Blowfin. Blowfin is no KYC, by the way, so there is an element of privacy there. Now, do realize that your ISP can totally, give information to anybody who is wanting that information. So even though you are not KYCing with Blowfin, your ISP knows your IP and they know who owns the account. So just understand that. Bybit does require KYC, so does BitGet, but if you are looking for a no KYC private option, peer-to-peer, but not the best user experience, then definitely look into BISC. And I got a video on BISC, so go check that out. You can check it out in the Discord. We got a lot of stuff on privacy in the Discord as well. Anyways, back to Bitcoin. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm thinking that we hold this level. We're kind of we got above the bull flag. We dipped below. That was a good value buy for those that snagged it up. We're now back on top and we're giving a test to see if we can maintain levels above the bull flag. And this correlates with the 7 simple moving average or 7 exponential moving average here on alphanumerics. Is it simple? It's a simple, isn't it? 7 simple moving average. Yes, simple moving average. My apologies, not the EMA, the SMA. The 7 SMA sitting at 108,331. We want to stay above that for the next 8 hours. If we do so, it's looking really good for the price of Bitcoin. S&P, we got a little bit of a gap here from the open, which I think if we do fill this gap, that'll probably correlate with today's low in Bitcoin. So that's kind of what I'm looking out for on the smaller time frames here on Bitcoin. I am actively trying to get an entry right now. I think that we're going to head to higher prices, as I've already mentioned. So my strategy as it stands right now is to just see how price behaves once this gap is filled, if this gap gets filled. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. DXY getting a little bit of a bounce off of this mega long-term accumulation, this long-term trend, rather, this uptrend since the great financial crisis, super long-term trend, nearly 20 years of data here. So getting a bounce off there as expected. This is the trend. It's been established for a very long time, so it's probably going to continue to hold that level. However, if we do indeed break below this, that will be a monumentous move in the strength of the dollar. Now, fundamentally speaking, I feel as though the US is trending towards devaluation. With the big beautiful bill that just passed, that's going to introduce a shit ton of money printing, and there's a lot of other fundamentals that are going towards weakening the dollar. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do break out of this channel. Now, that's not going to be a good thing for your everyday life. That means that the price of gas is going to go up, the price of eggs and groceries is going to go up, the price of everything is going to go up, and the price of your assets is also going to go up. Your house is going to go up. Bitcoin is going to go up. S&P is going to go up. NASDAQ's going to go up. Everything will go up if we lose this level. Now, if we can bounce here, then we can have a more healthy trend with the price of Bitcoin and the price of assets, because it will be working in conjunction with the dollar. Now, you don't want to see the dollar do that, because you'll probably get a bear market across all equities if we do see the dollar do this. But if we had a healthy tick up to say, back up to this level, that could be good for the price of Bitcoin, kind of hover around this level for a bit. We could totally see Bitcoin get to some impressive prices within the trading range, but things do get really silly if we fall out of this range. So do keep an eye out for that. Please watch the DXY over the coming weeks to months, because it will be very telling to the future of, honestly, the world. And that's not hyperbole. The US dollar is the global reserve currency. If they devalue their dollar, that means US denominated debt will the price of US denominated debt will go up. The price of goods and services globally, it doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter if you were an American, a Canadian, a European, and somewhere in Asia. It does not matter. The price of everything will go up. It oftentimes hurts non-Americans more than it hurts Americans, which just adds to the incentive of why the US will probably go for it, because they don't care. They get hurt the least. They're closest to the faucets. They're closest to the money printer. Anyways, I digress. Catch up with the chat. Why did you say limit orders don't move price? Isn't it stacked also in the order book? Just out of curiosity. So a limit order contributes to the order book, which does not move price. If you place a limit order, that means you have a resting order in the order book, whether it is above the current market price or below the current market price. If you have a resting order that is above or below the current market price, you do nothing to the market price. It's only when somebody comes in with a market order where they are market buying, which takes the asks, or they are market selling, which takes the bids, and actually removes the orders from the order book. Price moves when you remove an order from the order book. It does not move when you place an order in the order book. So limit orders do not move price. I picked up some track on MEXC. It's called TNX on there. There's not a lot of liquidity yet. Ooh, that's a little sketchy. TNX. TNX? That doesn't sound right at all. MEXC. Come on, stop it. It is called TNX. I don't see it here, my friend. I do not see it here. Do we see track? They have, oh, TNK. TNK. Yeah, that's weird. I guess because of the other track. They have two tracks listed, so they needed to distinguish. Yeah, track's got absolutely abysmal liquidity. Like, you want to talk low volume, go look at the ordinals. Ordinals are incredibly low volume right now. They're just, it's nothing. It's absolute nothing. So, good luck. TNK, yeah. I would recommend that you get your track on chain personally, but yeah. Anyways, let's continue here. Let's go back over to the S&P. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ kind of doing the same sort of thing. You know, we just had a big all-time high breakout. We're blue sky breakouts on all the indexes, so it's looking good. It's up only. We're up only. It's only a matter of time until retail starts coming into this, because they can only sit on their hands so long before people are forced to be like, oh shit, I have no choice. I have to start buying assets again. Whatever now, the thing about retail is they are completely driven by narratives. Retail only takes action upon a narrative. And right now there really isn't a narrative. So I'm not going to go and speculate as to what I think the next narrative is going to be. All I can tell you is price creates narratives. So this is a pretty monumentous rise here off the lows. And now we're at the all-time high break. So we're rallying past an all-time high break, blue sky breakout. It's only a matter of time before a narrative takes place, and you're going to see retail come back in. So we're just waiting for that moment. We're waiting for that catalyst. We're waiting for that digestible story for people to wrap their heads around. And then we're going to be off to the races. So it's all looking good. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Oh, is the S&P finally hitting our gap? I think the S&P's hitting our gap. There we go. There we go. What's going on with Bitcoin? Let's quickly take a look at Bitcoin here. Yeah. All right. This doesn't happen too often, but we're going long, ladies and gentlemen, to Bitcoin. $216,000 long. Let's do it. Boom. Gotta buy fear, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Bing, bang, boom. 2 Bitcoin long. Perfect. All right. Where was I? We were looking at Bitcoin dominance. Okay. So Bitcoin dominance continues to climb. It's going to continue to climb. I'm still targeting that. I'm still targeting kind of this 70% level here in Bitcoin. What that's going to look like, by the way. So people hear me say that. They hear me say, oh, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to go to 70%. And they think that the alts are just going to continue to plummet. Now, alts have not done very well at all. But they're getting close to a rotation. They're getting close to a rotation. Like we take a look at ETH BTC, it's holding its own. If we take a look at ETH USD, you know, it's made a bit of a recovery off of the lows here. It went as low as $1,400. Now it's back up to that. It's like stuck in this $2,500 zone. So that's okay. It can stay here. It can stay at $2,500. And Bitcoin dominance can go to 70. So just because Bitcoin dominance is mooning, like I'm still expecting a large move where Bitcoin dominance goes to around 70%. Even though Bitcoin dominance is going up really, really quickly, it doesn't necessarily mean that the US dollar comparative of your altcoin is going down. It can simply mean that Bitcoin is on a tear, which is exactly what we're predicting will happen. We are predicting that Bitcoin is going to have a large and fast impulse move up to $130,000, $40,000, $50,000. In that context, I don't think the altcoins are going to rally with Bitcoin on that first impulse. That first impulse is just going to grab the attention of the world. So Bitcoin's just going to do Bitcoin's thing. It's going to rally from 100 to 150, and it's going to do it really quickly. And the alts aren't going to do shit. Okay, now don't worry. They're not going to fall down. They're just not going to go up. But as a result of that move in Bitcoin up to $150,000, you're going to see Bitcoin dominance go up to approximately 70%. Then you're finally going to see a big drop in Bitcoin dominance as we see the rotation finally begin to take place, as we have retail attention to the cryptocurrency market. Once you get that retail attention, because the whole world will be like, holy shit, Bitcoin went from 100,000 to 150. What is this? What's going on? What else can I buy? I can't afford Bitcoin. Maybe I can buy a Cardano. Maybe I can buy an XRP. You know, so you get that retail demand come in, and you'll finally see that rotation take place. And as soon as there is a trend change, right now we're higher highs and higher lows. As soon as it transitions to lower highs and lower lows, boom, you got altcoin season. Boom, you got your 30x portfolio adjustment here. So just Hang in there. Hang in there. Nobody wants to talk about positive altcoin gains more than I do. It's, you know, I'm a YouTuber. The best way for me to grow is to talk highly of altcoins, but I've been keeping you guys safe. I've been keeping you level headed, and I've been keeping you out of the alts, which if you've listened to that advice, you're doing phenomenal. You're doing fantastic. So congratulations to those who kept a heavy Bitcoin portfolio. Congratulations to those who resisted the temptation to go into alts because it has not been the time. Congratulations to those who have been following this chart. All right. Now, let's talk about the alts. Let's talk about the alts. Now, ETH BTC, I still think that we're going to get some sort of a retest down here on the ETH BTC pair. This is not the dollar pair. So we can stay exactly at $2,500 for this entire move. If Bitcoin takes off, this chart will go down. And this will form what I'm looking for is kind of a double bottom. That's going to be a signal for me that ETH is ready to go. ETH has had a horrendous market cycle. It's been one of the worst performing assets to have allocations into. If you've been a heavy ETH portfolio, it's been an ugly one for you. So my heart goes out to you. But I think that, you know, we're getting really close to that rotation taking place. The fundamentals of ETH are changing a little bit. Now, I'm only half remembering. There's something, long story short, ETH is going to do a fork and there's another policy change. Now, this is the difference between hard money and bullshit fiat rewrapped as a new thing. So, you know, this whole ultrasound money bullshit that the Ethereum crowd says, it's honestly quite laughable because you change the monetary policy every 6 months. It's not ultra hard money. It's very flexible, soft money. Bitcoin is hard money. Try and change anything on Bitcoin. Try and change anything on Bitcoin. It's just not going to happen. Bitcoin is ultra hard money. That being said, the last large economic policy change that happened to Ethereum was here when Ethereum decided to go from proof of work to proof of mistake. Here is the mistake. They're not going back to proof of work, but I think they are changing something fundamentally on the Ethereum side. I'm going to be honest with you. I've only heard it secondhand and I haven't dove into it because I haven't really had a reason to pay attention to ETH. But there is some sort of economic policy change. If anybody's in the chat listening right now and you know exactly what I'm talking about, you're anticipating this new economic adjustment to the emissions schedule for Ethereum, drop it in the chat because I know somebody knows what I'm talking about here. But there's something coming down the pipe, and I think with that adjustment there will be a new fundamental repricing of ETH, which would coincide with the technical setup that we're looking at on ETH, and we could see really positive price action on ETH. But you know, we have a couple more things. We have a couple more check boxes that we need to check off before we can get too bullish on ETH. So I think it's coming, but there's still a few more things that need to align before we see that. World Computer, aka Crypto Cloud, ICP. Yeah, we can take a look at ICP. Absolutely. I'll get through some of the larger alts first, then we can take a look at some of the lower market cap alts. Technical analysis for track. C, sure, we can do C. Track, I mean, we'll take a look at track, but honestly, there's nothing noteworthy going on in the ordinals whatsoever. So like, I don't know. Do you want to turn this into a pity party? Just look at track. Track is pretty disgusting these days, along with all of the ordinals. They'll come back, but you know, they're going to be coming back way later. Like altcoin season will be in full swing before you see a recovery in those at all. Going along with BTC, not financial advice. Do your own research, take your own risks, blah blah blah, all that shit. But yeah, I gotta update the Discord too. I didn't update the Discord because it doesn't often happen where I'm live. I'll just give a preliminary. Give a preliminary update. It was like, yeah, I'll just say 108. All right. Sorry about that. So yeah, we'll take a look at some of these more degenerate alts in just a moment. Solana BTC, similar story to what we were seeing on ETH. But the structure is Solana, just overall, Solana is a way stronger asset than ETH this cycle. It's a way stronger asset. It shows way more resilience. It shows way more of an ability to rally. Now, credit where credit is due. ETH is flirting with getting above the 7 simple moving average, whereas Sol is still definitely pinned below it. However, its overall structure and its retracement is nowhere near. Well, it actually had a rally. It had a rally this cycle. ETH did not. So, don't be the one who makes the mistake to say, oh, ETH is due a rally. No alt is ever due anything. You're not owed anything in this market. The market moves based off of demand. When the demand comes to the market, where the demand goes should tell you everything you need to know about whether you're correct in your investment thesis. ETH, I do think, will perform well. Okay, I want to make that very clear. I think ETH will perform well. Solana will do better. I just think that Solana will do much better than ETH this cycle. Once the liquidity starts to flow back in, once you see that positive inflows, specifically on the retail demand side of things, Solana is going to be a more favorable trading environment to be in than ETH, in my opinion. I think it's going to do pound for pound larger moves. What else can we take a look at? Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano, really disappointing the Cardano community here, with the founder Charles Hoskinson's taking Cardano treasury and buying BTC with it. Good for BTC. That's not what the Cardano community wants to see. XRP, same thing. We are bouncing off the mean. Here, but I'm not going to get excited, obviously, because what have we been saying? Below this line, we're bearish. Above this line, we're bullish. Where are we? We're below this line. So even though it looks like it's coming down, resting on support in the middle of this trading range, which is a great high probability setup for a bounce, I'm not getting excited because we have rules in place. And until we can get out of this multi-year trading range, it's just going to continue to trade in this trading range. So once we break out of it, then you can get excited. But until we're out of it, we're in it. And when we're in it, we're going to stay in it. So the trend is your friend until it ends. Did you take a look at the gold charts yet? No, don't give a shit about gold. I give a shit about gold 2.0, but we can take a quick peek, quick little gander. Looks like the S&P's got our little gap fill. Let's see if we can get a bounce here. Looking good. Gold, got to go to a higher time frame. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, gold's chugging away, doing its thing. Doesn't seem to be topping. It can continue to higher levels. But I don't know. Gold bores me. I don't really give a shit about gold. You can make jewelry out of it. You can make computer components out of it. But I don't know. Everything that gold does, Bitcoin does better. Other than make jewelry and computer components. The two things I mentioned. But yeah, all right, let's get into some of these requested alts. Starting with who asked first. ICP. ICP is definitely a market laggard. It never really made its recovery since its debut. It launched super hyped. I remember when ICP hit the market, it was super hyped, and it launched on most exchanges at like a $10 billion valuation. And sure enough, what did the insiders do? If anybody buys an ICO, if anybody buys an initial coin offering and they get in at the seed stage, and by the time it hits the market, it's at a $10 billion valuation, they sell. They sell, and they sold, and man, just plummeted. And it never really recovered from that. Now, a lot of people bullish on ICP. ICP is also quite active at a lot of these events. They're always a very interesting group of innovations and developers sharing a lot of very interesting things when they go to events like Token 2049 and a lot of the crypto events. A track utilizes ICP for smart contracts on Bitcoin. So there's a lot of really cool things that ICP does. But again, you're just not seeing that price action. You're not seeing that follow through. Gotta silence these notifications here. Now, I keep it pretty simple with stuff like this, guys. You know, I'm very patient. There is no need to go and try and get into an altcoin early. There's just no need. It's so counter narrative to what everybody says. They're like, oh, you got to, now's the time. You got to do it when it's down, blah, blah, blah. No. You buy an altcoin when it's trending up. You buy Bitcoin when it's down in the value zone, and then you wait for the altcoins to start trending up. Until the altcoin trends up, there is no floor. It can continue to go down and down and down. And when you lose 90%, an altcoin can go ahead and lose another 90%. And then it can lose another 90% on top of that. There is no end to how low an altcoin can go. Do not take exposure to altcoins until they are trending up. So for this chart, where's our local high? It's right here. We need to rally a considerable amount before we can break out that high. Then we need to get a higher low. That'll probably happen here. That would be a great entry right at around $10. But we have to take out the high here at $14, $15 before you want to be looking at a value buy at 10. So there's a lot of work to do for ICP, a lot of work to do. And this is a common coin that many people become fundamentaled on. They're like, oh, it's the best this, or oh, it's the best that. Who gives a fuck? The market certainly doesn't give a fuck at all. So why should you? If you're here to just support technology, cool, run a node, develop smart contracts. That's how you can support. You don't support it by putting your hard-earned Bitcoin and sats into something like this until it's trending up. Then you can speculate to the upside. But yeah, no, it's a no-go for me. It's a no-go for me. In the past, you mentioned that the government will come for our BTC in the future. If you buy OTC, which cannot be tracked if you do it right, will they believe you don't have any? You told many times live you do. I can't answer that question for you, YOLO Thrill. You're going to have to just do your own research. I can point you in the direction of a resource, which I find to be very valuable. And that resource is Bitcoiner's Guide to Privacy. So go to bitcoiner.guide/privacy, and you can do your own research on answering that question for yourself. I will not answer that question, I'm afraid. Tron looks very bullish on the higher time frames. Yeah, we can take a look at Tron. Tron holds more Tether than any other blockchain, and Tether, I'm super bullish on Tether. Super bullish on Tether. I mean, I'll never really hold too much of any stable coin, but Tether is legit. A lot of people FUD Tether all the time. It's just not, Tether is as legit as they get. And the CEO is a hardcore Bitcoiner. I'm a big fan of Tether. Stacks, STX. So without even opening up this chart, it's doing horrendous because ordinals are doing horrendous. And there we are. Opening up this chart, it's abysmal. What can we look at? What kind of saving grace do we have here that we can see? We can see that there is a structure that holds lows, these cycle lows. It goes through this kind of price cycle ebb and flow where it rallies, gets a lot of excitement, comes right back into a bear market, rallies, causes a lot of excitement, comes into a bear market. We're in the bear market territory here for stacks. Use this as a barometer for ordinal health. Listen, I've said it a million times and I mean it every single time that I say it. Ordinals will come back. There will be a massive ordinals cycle. Why? Because this is a Bitcoin cycle. This is not an altcoin cycle. This is a Bitcoin cycle. So everything that touches or is connected to Bitcoin in any way, whether it is a Bitcoin treasury company, whether it is an ETF, whether it is an ordinal, whether it is a Bitcoin layer 2, anything that is touching Bitcoin in the right context is going to do incredibly well. Incredibly well. Not right now, but it will. It will. It's coming. Believe you me. This is a very Bitcoin forward cycle. This is probably as Bitcoin forward as it gets. And anything that touches Bitcoin, when retail comes in, we don't have retail, guys. We don't. I know you're here. That's cool. I'm here too. We're having a good time. But the retail FOMO has not kicked in yet. When retail FOMO kicks in, all this shit is going to go to the fucking moon, and it's going to just shock everybody. Like, everybody is so bearish in the space right now. The price projections, people talking that we're topping out at 150K. How dare you, sir? How dare you say we top out at 150K? You fucking bear. How dare you? 1.5 mil. Go for broke. This is going much higher than anybody expects. And anything that touches Bitcoin is going to be along for the ride. So is STX doing great? No, it's doing shit. It's absolute horrendous. Just like every other Bitcoin layer 2, every other ordinal project, every other BRC20 token, anything that's touching Bitcoin right now is doing horrendous, other than, these new Bitcoin treasury companies. But that will change. That will change when the retail comes back in. So just be patient. Be patient. Tron. Even MSTY. Oh, I hate that stock. I hate all stocks, to be fair. Like, I don't give a shit about MicroStrategy at all. I think Michael Saylor's a scammer. I'm not convinced he's buying any Bitcoin, but that's tinfoil hat shit. I have zero proof, 100% intuition. That's so, like, take that with a grain of salt, but don't give a shit about any Bitcoin treasury company. I just don't give a shit about stocks. Why? Because they're priced in dollars. I don't give a shit about anything that's priced in dollars. I take an alt because it's priced in Bitcoin. All right. Tron. TRX. Actually, I got this one. It's on the list. It's supposed to be on the list. TRX. Where's my TRX? It's got to be on the 2025 list. There it is. Yeah, it's a messy chart. Almost got to go to the monthly to clean this up. Yeah, I mean, it's consolidation. That's all it is. It's just in a consolidation. Once it breaks out, I'm not really getting excited. I'm not really getting excited till we can get above this level here. So it's got to break 400 sats, 350 sats. As soon as Tron is above 350 sats, it will accelerate. And I think Tron will be a pretty big winner. I think, you know, there's going to be some pretty big winners out there. And I hate to say it. And a lot of you people are going to be excited to hear the biggest fucking XRP bear say it. But I think XRP is going to do really well. Fucking hate that coin. It's against everything that I stand for as a Bitcoiner. Everything. It is a scam. But that scam is going to pump hard. That scam is going to pump hard when the context is right. I think the same thing is going to happen with Tron. They're going to pump hard. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I just look at these the thing is, the longer something trades sideways, the higher the price objective is. Tron and XRP have been trading sideways for a redonkulous amount of time. From the seller's climax to where we are right now, Tron has been trading sideways for 2,100 days. Okay. If we take a look at XRP from where we are right now to the seller's climax, it has been, well, we'll be even more generous and say that this is the seller's climax, even though that's preliminary support. 2,100 days. 2,100 days of sideways price action when priced in Bitcoin. I hate this project, but I can totally come on here and say, you know, once we hit above this line, once we get above the bullish line, it's not stopping. It's not stopping, and it's going to be a showstopper is what it's going to be. It's going to do some really exciting moves. Now, I'm not going to buy any. I just won't. Sorry, not going to do it. I'll make my gains somewhere else, but I will report on it. I will do TA on it. I will be there for those who are interested in trading it. But I'm just not buying that fucking trash. Sorry. I have boundaries. I have limits to my degeneracy. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, good points. Also, Tron doesn't dump as hard as the other shitcoins since a few years. See ya. This is an old coin, isn't it? Isn't this an old ass coin? Oh, I guess not. What am I thinking of? Saya coin? I don't know. It's the same story. It's a different coin. You don't buy it. Buy it when it's in an uptrend. It's not in an uptrend. When it's in an uptrend, buy it. Until it's in an uptrend, don't buy it. I mean, if you really wanted to be cheeky with it, you got a small little uptrend here, but this is, I don't care about this. I want the macro uptrend. When this thing goes, it'll go. The biggest thing for me, and I sound like a broken record here, but the biggest thing for me is Bitcoin dominance has to be downtrending. If Bitcoin dominance is not downtrending, just no. I don't care how much TA you want to do on it. I don't care how much fundamental analysis you're going to do on it. It's a no. Mauricio Lopez, hello, brother. Good to see you as well. Since Mauricio's in the chat, let's go take a look at Curve. I got you, Mauricio. I got you. It's just chilling. Still working on its backup. Probably going to do a double bottom right here. Something like that before it breaks out. You need cooperation from ETH for any of the Ethereum related tokens to do well. When ETH starts doing well, this will start doing well. Mike Max, EAT? EAT? What is that? Let's take a look. eat. Okay, that might have been a typo. Might have been a typo. All right. Let's see how the Bitcoin trade's doing. Uh-oh. How's the S&P doing? Still working through this gap fill. Hopefully we don't have to come down to this gap fill. Oh no, that's filled. That's filled. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. How many more hours left in the day here? Oh, we're just finished. Oh no. How many hours? 3 hours. 3 hours left in the trading session. We'll probably see a pop after hours. We'll get a little bit of a recovery end of day, because there's always a little bit of a recovery end of day. It's nothing noteworthy, but there's always a little bit of something end of day. And then we get a good 12, 16 hours of untethered price action, uncorrelated price action to the stock market. But yeah, it's looking good. I mean, we had a pretty good number of green days here in the stock market. This is our first red day with a gap fill, so it's filled. You got 3 hours. It'll probably, I'd love to see this flip green, but a gap fill's good enough. Does AXS have a chance to come back? No, AXS is done. Never coming back. It was an experiment. The experiment played its course. It's never coming back. It'll rally a bit. It'll get a sympathy rally, but this is dead. Axie Infinity is dead. Dead. Those are collectibles now. You guys remember CryptoKitties? Yeah, exactly. That's what Axies are now. CryptoKitties. All right, let's wrap things up. Bitcoin's got to work its recovery here. Nothing's changed on the higher time frames. I think, again, for the daily close, we're probably going to close on top of the 7. If we close on top of the 7, currently sitting at 108.281, that is going to be a positive sign for a green day on next day's candle. If we lose that level and fall down, not great for the trade that we entered, but hey, that's trading. You win some, you lose some. You just go for the next one, wait for the next setup. But yeah, if you guys are interested in joining the trading community or just getting set up on a Bitcoin trading bot, don't forget to check out blackbox.pro. That is BLKBöX.pro. And click the join trading community tab right at the top. We'll ask you 3 questions and get you a sign up link into the Discord. And with that, we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for joining into the Discord, joining into the live stream, and we will see you probably tomorrow. So with that,